Good evening, one and all, and welcome to another evening of Sim Racing. My name is Matthew Chuggy Williams, and today, joining me for round 11 of the GPVWC Formula Challenge is Mr. Thomas Hinss. Say good evening, or good morning as it is for you in lovely Australia.
Yes, it is morning, yeah. 4 o'clock, so yeah, early start. Yes, good morning. All, one and all. Should be a lot of fun this Informal Challenge, a lot of different pace, of course. 40 cars out there, I think it is, or 39, so it should be a lot of battles, that's for sure. So I'm looking forward to this.
Absolutely, some dedication out on track, dedication in the booth for what will be, I'm sure, another sterling evening of Formula Challenge. And welcome to the Hungaroring in Magyarország, Hungary. It was actually built for Formula One in 1986 to satisfy the need for a race behind the Iron Curtain. The government originally wanted a street track and wanted it to be inside Budapest's largest park, but after a few different thoughts of view and changes, it was built outside of the city, along the main roads and the like, and we found ourselves with the track that we have here today. 14 challenging corners, known as Little Monaco. This racetrack is not like many others, tight, bumpy, and a surface which can be abrasive. So we're likely to have wear issues as well as tight and interesting fights all up and down the field. To further spice things up as well, the weather is slightly changeable, so everything and anything could happen as we have two 18-lap races around this 4.3-kilometre race circuit. Tom, what's your thoughts on the Hungaroring? Is it one of your favourites, or are you not keen?
It's situational, I guess. It depends on the car. Open wheels, of course, is a bit interesting. You've got curves which you can mount and go a bit too far. Car straight lines can be a real pain in the backside, especially with tyre wear as well. But I do have fun with it. I raced around here in WSS round that was, I think, about a week ago, and that was a lot of fun. Had a real ball, so it can be fun, I've found, but sometimes it can really bite you in the back if you don't pay attention. So.
Absolutely. And as our drivers are now in qualifying, we've got 11 or so minutes to go. We've got obviously a track of three very different sectors. We have actually 4 hairpins on this track, quite a few more than you perhaps usually expect, but turn 1 is a hairpin, turn 2 is a hairpin, and turns 13 and 14 are hairpins. And you've got a real tight and technical second sector. Doubt you get much overtaking opportunity there, but there'll be definitely an opportunity to make a mistake and let a rival potentially get by you. So I think certainly this evening it's all going to be about making sure your car works in those first and last sectors, make sure you can take advantage of the straights and slow corners that you've got there, and obviously keeping it on the island through sector 2.
Yeah, indeed, and also in that first corner as well will be a big opportunity to overtake down to turn 2. They'll go for the good old up and under treatment, so someone will go down the inside, then you'll look to get the exit, go straight back down the outside or the inside into turn 2, so look for that to happen for guys to get back into position once they get taken into turn 1.
Absolutely, and in fact, if we can, ride on board with our current pole sitter, Mr. Peter Burlak. He's actually just going through this second sector right now. We're actually seeing some of the traffic build up already, as we'll hopefully have a lap on board of him in just a moment. He's been our pace setter. So far, he set the fastest lap in official practice just a few moments ago, just a scant 0.3 of a second faster than his nearest competitor, being Jonathan Holmes. So we should be in for a good race here, and more interestingly, the midfield all very closely spread here, as actually I think Petter's going into the pit, so good timing on the call out there, but oh well, these things happen. We'll have to see if we can find someone else to ride on board with.
I'll just say Jonathan Holmes is at the moment just going through to turn 2, so he could be one to look at going on board with. He's only 1.173 behind Peter, so indeed, very close in pace.
Yep, and he's just going through turn 3 there, coming up to the end of sector 1 and up to turn 4. This is of course the corner where Felipe Massa had his big accident a few years back. Thankfully recovered well from there, and that car absolutely nailed through there, very fast, and obviously as you can see, very fast corner, large change of direction and the elevation change. Evidently this Tanskman car, as they have been all season, actually working very well. A little slide out the chicane there, but as long as you can gather it up and just keep the momentum, I find, through this section here, you'll get a good lap time.
Yeah, I do agree. Yeah, it's very much, a lot of it's about rhythm, especially the section he's just gone through and going through now. A lot of rhythm in trying to get the apexes, get the exits, really nail the line of the track. And that's going to be a lot of it through that sort of second sector there. A lot of it's through the rhythm, and that's what's going to be the big factor in how quick you are here in quali and in the race.
Absolutely, and let's just quickly round out our current qualifying position, shall we? So we do have Peter Burlak currently on pole with a 1 minute 28.3. He is, as we were saying just a moment ago, followed very closely by Jonathan Holmes. with a 128.4. Then we have a P3, Eric Strawn, who dominated the last round. We'll get to what happened at last time out in a few moments in the Enterprise car. But he's followed by Dovidas Polaris, Jesper Tolberg, Sven Spitz, Ben Warren, Tim Heinemann, and Ansco Mevius running out our top 9. And then we have actually for Play Seat Racing, Bruno Sousa Ferreira. Good effort there. He's currently in P10.
Indeed, and then bring in 11th. We'll go through the whole field, I guess, why not? 11th, actually, now it's actually Bruno. He's just got bumped down a spot there. And then it's 12th is David John at the moment. 13th, Lewis McGlade. 14, Sandeep Hayes. I don't sound awful, but Shoda, yep. And then Timmy Torka in 15th. Sam Jones is 17th now. He just got bumped down as well. And it's Peter Duvela. Sorry, my pronunciation. Yep. 18th, and then Ollie Helkinen, sorry. Yep, I'll get it right. 19th, and then Ben Haxton is in the 20th there, running out the top 20.
Yep, and Ben Horrell, he's in 21st, followed by Adam Osger, Mark Wicks, Ewa Tuinainen, Ben Wuss, Rob Mason, William Naron, good to see him, he's filling in temporarily tonight. Now Tim Straub, James Kirk, Simon Smith, Marco van der Broek, and Anders Pestovs. That's your top 32. And then you've got Ollie Woods and John McLean, and that's actually the field as it currently stands if you don't count us. But as you were hearing, as we were reading that out, time's changing all the time. So we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on certainly this midfield area. Currently we have in P11 Mikko Sukelas, and he was the one who actually knocked Bruno down a peg. He's been knocked down a peg himself in the Tanskelman car. Taking charge of that car, I believe, this round, James Johnson.
Indeed. And just slipping through the field, though, these times. I look at this from all this sort of in the back end of the 10 and into the teams, all the 129s. Look at this, 0.9, 0.3, 0.3, 0.3, 0.4. It's all a couple of tenths there between the guys, all the way from about 7th all the way down to about 14th there. So in that little bit, there's a lot of potential for that to really change this quality session.
Absolutely, and of course, this being the track it is, overtaking it is possible due to some of the hairpins. We had a big off there. I think someone just lost it big time going through turn 4 there, the uphill left. But yeah, as you were saying, there's a lot of cars very close together, and this track perhaps not the most conducive to overtaking. There is some opportunity, but that qualifying position, all important, I'm sure, as we move through. And just riding on board there with Jonathan Holmes, and a slight moment going through the second sector, just running a little wide, but it looks like he's gathered that one up quite nicely. As now just about to try and find another driver to ride on board with here, and I'm currently riding on board with actually William Naron. He's driving the Viking car, by the looks of it, in the place of Ben Haxton, so that's Ben's helmet. He's just going through turn 4 there. He's currently in 28th place, and he's just coming through sector 2 here. Let's see how he takes the chicane. So the chicane, Tom, you're mentioning to me, you've got to watch out for these curves.
Indeed, yeah. Especially in something like the Porsches, it's not so bad because they have the suspension to really take the impact and not be too affected. But these Formula Challenge cars, because of open wheels, with there's no suspension travel there to give, hitting those little sort of sausage curves there is really going to affect the car. So if anyone goes too much, gets a bit too greedy, they're really going to pay for it. Possibly a straight line, and could cause some chaos if there's someone in front. So you're going to have to be a bit careful to not get too aggressive on those curves.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have seen moments in real world racing and of course virtual where just that slight moment, and of course, as you say, these open wheel cars, very little suspension on these cars, predominantly in the tyre. If you do take just a little bit too much curb, that's the car just thrown out of balance, thrown out of whack, and you lose momentum and you will lose places, especially through that section there. So that lap there. Oops, sorry.
So I was just going to say, interesting to see as you see Peter Burlack these, and only on line 27 is half a second clear of Holmes at the moment, so he is leaps and bounds ahead of the field for the time being, but that could of course change in these last 4 minutes, but hopefully people can find some time, because otherwise that's a big gap there over the rest of the field.
It is indeed, and we've seen this several times from Petter. He can absolutely get that car nailed, and we have seen several rounds. He's been able to get that good solid pole position time in, and he's been able just to control that first race and score some serious points. And it's in fact thanks to those serious points that he's currently our driver's leader on 266 points, but following some very strong run of points finishes. David Yount, he's only a mere 24 points behind that now. That's a race win, in fact, almost. He's in second, followed by James Johnson. Jesper Tolberg, a star of last round, he's now moved up to fourth, with Holmes in fifth. And the constructors, as it currently stands, Tanskanen lead by a healthy margin, 424 points from Smile Power. They're now on 330. THR close behind them, 321, and Walk Racing on 294 points after 11 rounds and 22 races. Still all to play for on both championships. We've got obviously the likes of Spa on the calendar ahead of us. Is there any particular tracks, Tom, that you're looking forward to with some great racing?
Well, I think definitely Spa. That the Kamal Straight will be a big overtake opportunity there down in the chicane, and I'm really looking forward to watching that one, so that will be very, very fascinating. Just the track in general, Spa is a very challenging track to race around, so that'll be a real challenge for everyone to get used to. But otherwise, I'd say I do actually like Abu Dhabi. I like that track personally, so I think that'd be really interesting to see. And the Brazil, I think, always tosses up some interesting battles and interesting racing. So that would be the one. Those would be the ones for me that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, good call. Interlagos, it's one of my favourites. I've got a very sweet spot in my heart for that track, and it's given us some great racing. And I'm sure when we get there towards the end of the year, we'll have some great racing, and who knows, potentially some deciding races there as well. But anyway, returning to here and now, we've got 2.5 minutes now of qualification remaining. Our top 10 currently are Peter Burlak, Jonathan Holmes, Jesper Tolberg, Eric Strachan, Dovidas Polaris, Terence Gretsch, Peter Duvalier, Timo Toika, Lewis McGlade, and Tim Henneman. So,
indeed. Oh,
yeah.
And the gap is now down to 0.3 there at the front. So Holmes has found some pace. He's found a couple of tenths there to bring it back. But as you see there again, look at the gap from Holmes down to Tolberg. It's another about half a second. So these top two are just seeming to be quite a bit faster than the rest of the field. And you go down from about third all the way down to something like 10th, and they're all within about half a second there. So very interesting to see the difference in paces here.
Indeed.
About Hungary.
And as you were just saying that, in fact, yes, but he found that extra little bit of time, and he's now bumped actually Holmes down to P3 just. We're talking less than a hundredth of a second almost there. Jesper Torberg now up into P2, and he had a great run last time out. We'll mention that in a moment as the drivers preparing their warm for race one. But Jesper, he's clearly on a purple patch of form, and he's continuing that form as we are going through qualifying here. Holmes, sorry.
So I'm sorry to intervene again, but I was just going to say, with not even just this, just obviously with WSS as well, I've noticed he's been getting good pace, always even the ITC, of course, in that he's got good pace there, and just generally, and it seems to me a lot of the different cars he races in, he manages to find some pretty good pace. So this isn't obviously just put just in FC, so this is in multiple series for him, so it's good to see him up there at the front, as he seems to be with a lot of the races here in the league.
Absolutely, a lot of quality drivers here at the GPVWC, and you can be one. Just head over to gpvwc.com and sign up on the forums and register on the website. You could be one of these drivers in the very next round, if you so feel. We've got the Open Series, of course, to showcase new talent. They're racing as I speak, and we'll hope they have some results of them in the near future. So we'll see how those guys have gone out and run, but all sorts of racing available here. But again, let's return as we are entering our final 30 seconds. I'm riding on board with our still pole setter Peter Burlak. Hopefully we might be able to get a whole lap on board of him in a moment to see how he is that quick, but knowing my luck, curse the commentator, he'll now fit in. And he is indeed, so... Oh dear, you couldn't make it up. But it looks like that might be our top three settled. So Holmes is currently in the pit, Tolberg has actually just parked his car, and so is Burlak. So it's going to be up to our chasing pack if they're going to do anything. Got Duver, he's also in the pits. We've got Strachan, he's out doing a lap. Let's ride on board with him. He's currently P5. Can he improve on it?
I hope so. We'll just have a look at him here on board.
They're nice and tidy into turn one. Got a good exit running down to turn two here. Nice and tidy, keeping it nice and tight to the apex. Nice. Good traction in general through three there. Let's see how he handles four up in sector two here. Will he just chuck the car in? Oh.
Yeah, looks like he did. That rear end a little bit lively there, but yeah, it looks pretty planted. Doesn't look too bad. He was pretty aggressive into the left-hander there. Usually that's, if anything's going to go wrong, that's what's going to go wrong with the change of elevation. So it seemed to handle all right, and he did keep it planted. So this could be a decent lap if we can keep it on the limit, so to speak.
Absolutely, and just keeping an eye, he's been able to take a nice little chunk of curb as well on several curves, as we just saw there. And the car seems to be able to deal with it, so that might be able to give him a little bit of time running just within limit there onto the curb through turn 11, that is, into sector 3, down into turn 12. Nicely stopped, running out a little bit, try and carry some of that momentum down into turn 30.
Indeed, and he's going to come up now around, coming up to the final corner, going to try and get the power as quick as he can. No, he's going to go into the pits. All right, so obviously that wasn't that good. So
Well, there you go. There was still a nice, tidy and quick-looking lap to my eye, even though he decided to pit in. So he's going to be starting P5, P5, and I'm just trying to keep an eye on who our last qualifier might be. It might actually be McGlade, I don't know. But I think, having said that, he may have stopped out on track. So yeah, I think we have our order here. So do you want to run through the first 10?
Yeah, we'll do. Peter Burlack is our pole sitter, about 3/10 clear of Jesper Tolberg. Then it's Jonathan Holmes in third place. Peter Duvillard is in walk racing there in fourth. Eric Strachan in fifth for Enterprise. And then you've got Polaris, who I thought was on a lap, and then I noticed he was spinning. So didn't quite get to finish it, but he's for Bastic there in sixth place. Then it's Terrace Grench for Katana in seventh. Tumi Toka is eighth. And then it's Miko Suakas. Yep. And James Kirk's going to round at the top 10 there for Pacific as well.
Then in P11, we've got Lewis McGlade. He's followed by Tim Henneman. Sven Smits is behind that pair. And Ben Warren and Bruno Sosa Ferreira round out our top 15. They will be followed by Sandeep Choda, Hansko Mebius, David Yuntz in the THR, Sam Jones, and Ewa Tuanainen.
And then 21st will be Mark Wicks there for Katana. Then for Cosmo, it's Ben Horrell, 22nd. And Ollie Pelkonen is 23rd for Viking. Adam Oskar is 24th. John McLean is 25th. Tim Straub, 26th. Ben Willis, 27th. Rob Mason there, 28th. William Neron is 29th. And Andreas Petrovs is 30th for Zedrick.
And we have the first of the back marker brigades. That's Simon Smith. And he's followed by his teammate Marco van der Broek in the 32 and 33, or 33, 34. And then we have, rounding out the field, Ollie Woods, 35. So we've got 35 qualifiers, runners and riders, and a pretty interesting and close qualifying session. I think we are going to have a fascinating race in that midfield.
Indeed, that's where it'll be by the looks of the pace. I mean, in quality, those midfield were all within a second or a second between about 10 places or so, and between positions it was like under a tenth for a lot of them. So that'll be where it'll be to watch, and that's the back end of the 10 into the teens where a lot of these big battles are going to happen. But it'll be interesting to see at the front there, as you said, with Tolberg and Holmes. They seem to find a bit more pace at the end of the session there, so hopefully they can give Burlack a bit of a run for his money in the lead, so he won't just run away with this one. But as you said, with his form, it's possible that he'll just do his usual, keep control of the race and run away with it. But hopefully we can get some racing out the front, because that would definitely be entertaining to watch.
And we definitely had racing out the front, let me tell you. Last time out at Hockenheim, Petter, he didn't get the opportunity to just run away with it, because we had two drivers who were absolutely on fire. Last time out at Hockenheim, in our two races we had there just 2 weeks ago. In race one, it was all looking controlled and sorted by Burlack until a last-minute move by Strachan, who was absolutely dicing with them the whole race. Contrasting setups there. Cost them both, and Tolberg, right place, right time. He profited and got a win in race one, and he then backed that up by coming second in race two. Strachan, though, he wasn't deterred by that little bit of contact in race one. He came through to win in race two, and Timu Choika came home a strong third. But really, those two drivers last time out were the ones to watch. They definitely had the pace. They converted that into points most certainly. And actually, in general, there was a lot of dicing in the midfield even there. So I'm sure we're going to get some good racing here today. As we just have a mere 3 minutes to go until race one, Tom, what are your thoughts? Who are your ones to watch?
I reckon definitely those top three, Holmes, Tolberg and Peter, are the ones to watch in terms of the front, just with that pace and qualifying, how far ahead they were. That's hard to really argue with that for their race pace. That's a very good indication that they will be right up the front there, battling, hopefully, amongst the top three there for the lead. But I mean, as you said, Strachan there, on his last round performance, he could be one to watch. Even the guys like Grench, Polaris, maybe even Toika, these guys here, just off, they're not too far off the pace, but if they can just be in the right place at the right time, they could really profit. So I'd say just keep an eye on the guys just in the bottom end of the 10, because they aren't too far off the pace, and all they need is for something bad to happen around them, and they can benefit greatly.
Absolutely. My ones to watch. You want to know something? There was some great comeback drives last time out, and Dovydas Polaris was one of those drivers. He started right at the back, and he came through to some good results last time out. He's starting not that far back from the front, so you never know. He might be able to get a good start, get up there and mix it in that first race. But of course, the elements that we don't quite know about is the weather and potential wear. In reality, this track is not used that often, so when racing does come up here, it's a particularly abrasive surface. We could see issues with tyre, or actually, as a few drivers are just commenting in the pre-race chat, potentially fuel. So we might see some pit stops in this one. We haven't seen it so far this year, so strategy could play a hand in this one. So lots of things to keep an eye on.
Yeah, there's all the battles in the midfield, and you've got strategies to say tyre wear, fuel, weather. It's all could really kick off, especially if it rained halfway through the race. That could really throw a spanner in the works. That's when that sort of thing happens. That's when you really look to the back and the midfield, where those guys who are really where the masters can really come through the field. So I think it'd be good if it could rain. I think personally, because that would really make it a very, very, very interesting race with a lot of unpredictability to suddenly arise.
So we saw it just a few weeks ago back at Silverstone in the Super League. We had just occasional showers, not lots of rain, just little showers every now and then. Just causes the driver to perhaps have a think. Do you go for wets? Do you stick on the slicks? And well, in that case, a fellow Australian, Mr. Harley Hamlet, he profited and won that race. So we'll have to see if anyone can make that right strategy call, get the right tyres on at the right time, and well, profit. Anyway,
Indeed. I was just going to say, indeed, very, very true. And I'd be interested to watch this, and that'll be the time as well. Is when is that time to cross over? When's the crossover time? When the dries become the one to be on, the wets become the one to be on. It'll be a real bit of an experimentation if this does happen, as to seeing people coming in and maybe not getting it right, others being a bit late or being too early or on time. So it'll be very, very interesting to watch.
Absolutely. As we just enter our final seconds here of warm-up, the drivers very shortly will be taken to the grid for the first of two 18-lap races with hairpins in turn 1 and 2. I'm sure we're going to have some dramas, some lovely passing moves, and general, just another outstanding Formula Challenge race to have for you in just a few seconds here. So the grid is being formed up. Very shortly we should hear our good friend the
Attention grid, will all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
There he is. So he's asked the grid to be cleared, and the drivers will now be taking up their slots. They've got 30 seconds to do so. And what we'll do is we'll run through our starting order after penalties and whatnot have been applied from the last round. So, starting in P1 and currently actually not on the grid, just saving as much of the car, I guess, as possible before the race starts, will be Petter Burlak. Again, good pole position time, and will he be able to just ramp away with another race win? Well, we'll find out in just a few seconds. He's leaving it very late. There we go, just to get onto the grid just in time. So he starts in P1. He's followed by Jesper Torborg in the Smile Power car. And in P3, we have Jonathan Holmes in the first of the Tanskanen racing cars. Peter Duvelar is in the second Walk racing car, and he's followed by Eric Strachan, of course, one to watch, most definitely given out a strong performance in that Enterprise car last time out in Germany. Dovidas Polaris, my one to watch. He's in the first of the Masterpick Grand Prix cars in P6, followed by Terence Gretsch, Timu Toika, and Nico Sukalas in the second of the Tanskanen cars. James Kirk then rounds out our top 10.
And next up, you've got Lewis McGlade for in 11th place. Tim Heinemann, who I believe is filling in for Cosmo here in 12th place. Very good effort there for a fill-in job. And then Sven Smits is 13th, Ben Ryan 14th, 15th is Bruno Sousa, 4th-place seat, and it's Sandy Chota for JRT down 16th. Hansko Livius is for Enterprise down 17th. David Junt in 18th for THR. Sam Jones is 19th for Aurora. And it's Mark Wicks in 20th, top 20 for Katana.
Then we have Ben Horrell, the second of the Cosmo cars. He starts P21 for this one. He's followed by Ollie Pulkman in the Viking racing car. P23 is Ben Haxon in the second Smile Power car, followed by Adam Osger. He had a strong race too in Hockenheim last time out in the YTF1 car. Keep an eye out for him. He's followed by John McLean and Tim Stroud. And then we have starting P27 Ben Willis in the night racing car, followed by Rob Mason, William Naron, and in P30 is Anders Pestovs.
And then, of course, you've got two back marker brigade cars of Simon Smith and Marco van der Broek there at the back in 31st and 32nd. Ollie Woods in 33rd Velocity. And it's Johan Tunainen running out the field for THR in 34th. And that is your field for this, what should be an absolutely fantastic race in Formula Challenge.
Should be indeed. Petter, he's just leading the formation lap around, the cycle lap round. He's just about to come around the final corner now. And the field is fairly spread out. And it's interesting to see not a great deal of tyre warming going on. That may perhaps be a sign of not wanting to wear them out, who knows. But as I say that, they're now starting to walk weave at the start-finish. But anyway, got our cars now taking up their grid positions. Of course, all the cars need to use launch control to ensure a good getaway, since we have so many cars here. But as everyone is now filling in into their grid slots. We wish, of course, all the drivers luck as we get ready for the start of race 1 of 2 here. So, just waiting for the final cars to come round turn 14 and take up their grid positions. And I think pretty much everyone is in place now, so we should very shortly have the lights come on. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we are go for race 1 of the challenge race here at the Hungaroring. Looks like Peter Burlak's got a good solid start, and Jesper Tolberg has got a decent start as well, but a better start still is the I think that is the Tanskanen car of Holmes. He's defending or getting ahead, sorry, of Jesper into turn 1 there. So good move there. Strawn, he's been able to hold on to P4, and Dubala in second walk car, he's in P5. Not a great deal of movement actually up and down the field. Just having looked, a few changes of position as we're now heading down from turn 3 to complete sector 1 on lap 1.
Indeed, it's all pretty line of stern. Peter Burlak there looked like he was going to get taken, I must admit, from Holmes there, but he managed to hold it round the outside. Very brave stuff from Peter there. He's got the lead at the moment from Holmes, and they're right together there. Jesper Tolberg quite a way, well, a bit of a distance there back. There's a bit of a pack behind, a bit of a Julie train there for Jesper at the moment. Derek Strong right behind, he'll be looking to get through, get on the podium there, get his way up to Peter. He doesn't want to let them get away, because that is the worry if those guys there get battling for third. The top 2 might just decide to bugger off up the road, so they're going to have to be careful to watch out for that.
Looks like Pestov's has had a drama. He's dropped all the way to the back of the grid, but as you were saying, Jesper, he's got to keep an eye on those 2 leading, Walk and Tanskanen cars. If they scrap though, you never know, Jesper might be able to sit back and profit as he did last time out and just focus on his own race. But meanwhile, we've got the grid filtering through. Thankfully, no dramas on lap 1 here, going through that tight and twisty section 1. And we've got a few movers and shakers. We've got James Kirk, he's been able to gain a place or 2. He's up to P9 now. Poliaris, am I one to watch? I think he's lost a place. He's down to P6 as we have our drivers just crossing the start-finish line now. And it is actually Peter Burlak. He sets the fastest lap of the race, the first lap of the race, good 3/10 of a second. So if he can get into his rhythm, I'm sure he'll start or try to start to break away.
Yeah, it's had to go defensive there against Holmes. Holmes was looking to do the switchback out of turn 1, but he managed to defend it. He's still got the lead. He's still got a little gap over Jesper Tolberg. Interesting to watch that, see how that develops. But one I've just noticed is Tim Heinemann there for Cosmo. He's up to 10th. I'm pretty sure he was 12th or 13th on the grid, so he's profited quite a lot at the moment in this start. He's actually all over the back curve at the moment. He might challenge to be up to 9th here. It's looking pretty good for him. So it'd be good if he can challenge there for Cosmo, getting up as far as possible. To be a good thing for Cosmo to get some nice points here.
Yeah, Kirk evidently going defensive into the chicane, and yeah, absolutely, that Cosmo car is absolutely hooked up. To me, almost it looks like he's having to brake a bit more than he really wants to. He wants to carry a bit more momentum through, but well, it looks like he just can't get enough momentum though to get by. He's all over the gearbox as we go through turn 11 here. Oh, Kirk rings a little bit wide there, but he'll be allowed that. He's going defensive already. Who's going to be the latest on the brakes? Oh, it's Heinemann, but Kirk's got the inside, so that's pretty much just about covered. Oh, as I think that's a back marker for oh no, that's a what is
Timu
that?
Toika, yeah.
It's Timu Toika. He's had a moment. He's gone off there down at turn 12, so he's going to fall into the scrap now. And oh my goodness me,
No.
Heidemann trying to go around the outside at 14. That is bold, very bold.
Brave stuff behind him. I thought he had that for a moment. He nearly looked like they actually held that around the outside. Look down the inside. You're going to have to be very brave on the braking. It looks like Sven is very, very keen here to get involved too. 3 wide down to turn 1. Oh, contact they managed to get through just, but he's done, he's through, and so does Sven. So James back to 10th again there, thanks to that. So some very close driving there, but they managed to get through. But credit to Tim there, he's gone up to 8th now, so he is charging through the field at the moment for Cosmo. Very, very hooked up.
He wants to get on with it, he wants to move up the order, and speaking of getting on with it, Peter Burlak has opened up the gap now and between himself and Jonathan Holmes for P1 and 2. The gap is up to a second all of a sudden. So it's gone from cars being very close together to a fairly significant gap, and he's falling into the clutches a bit there of Jesper Tolberg, so I have to keep an eye on Holmes. I'm sure it was perhaps just a simple little moment there, and he's going to reel the in, but Peter's going to be pleased with that. He won't have to worry about defending. He's focused about getting his own race done and thus getting the car to finish as quickly as he can. In fact, through that last sector 2 there, he's gained another 10th on Holmes there, so evidently he's going to start to stretch his legs a bit. And Holmes and Tolberg, if they want to challenge for that win, they're going to have to start upping their pace a bit.
Indeed, and as you can see, the top 5 there are a good chunk ahead of the leaders. So it's the 5th place there, Peters, 2.9 behind the leaders, and you've got about another 3 seconds nearly back to Terrace. So the top 5 have just gone up the road at the moment. They are quite a way ahead of the rest of the field. And there's a bit of a gap, and here we go, look at this, you've got Sven all over the back of Tim here for 8th place. Tim goes defensive, he's going to try and go the long way around to go for the switchback. We'll have to see here as he comes into turn 1. Looks like he might go for the switchback. No, he's going to get around the outside, but I'm going to try and go all the way, and look, he's going to get done. Beautiful move there, Sven all the way around the outside. Makes it stick and gets it done before turn 2, so it's very, very good driving from Sven there to get that done. Although Tim is looking to get back.
Lovely move there. Nice and clean and thought about. Considered good space left by both drivers there. I'm just actually keeping an eye on our midfield fight here. We did wonder if it was going to be one to watch. Currently I'm riding on board with Dovidas Polaris. He's dropped actually down to P15, but he's got a gaggle of cars. Oh, and we got one spinning off. Who was that? That was Sukas. Sukas in... I missed what car that was. He went back so quickly in the order here, but Polaris and everyone, they've all gained a position off that. So many cars in such close proximity. There's bound to be a contact or a mistake, and Sukas, he's been caught out in that one. You have to keep an eye on this. Oh my word, Polaris. I don't think there's going to be a way through for 2 cars unless the other one's very compliant. You've got Mebius now, the second of the Enterprise cars, just ahead of him as he go from turn 11 here to complete. And second sector here on lap 4 of 18, giving a little bit of space and go down to 12. Goodness gracious, Polaris has got that car really nicely set up on the brakes. Definitely broke quite a lot later than the cars ahead. And he's carried that momentum. Oh, hello! I was about to say a lovely move, but thankfully the wheels didn't seem to interconnect there, so it wasn't a drama, but that was very late up the inside. Evidently he's showing Mebius, he means business, he wants to get by and get on with his race, so that's going to be one to keep an eye on. Kirk, he's gone back down to 11th now, but meanwhile Burlak, he's maintaining the gap at 1.1 seconds from Holmes, and Tolberg, he's actually dropped a little bit back, off the back of Holmes on that last lap, and Strawn, he's actually gained a bit on Jesper there, so lots to keep an eye on in the mid and the very front. We definitely have 2 distinct races now. We've got P5 to 11, all in a train. We've got a little outlier in P6 and 7 being Gretsch and Toika. And then we've got a big old battle, 8 all the way back down to at least, I'd say, 18, 19 almost. All fighting for those points paying positions.
And Kirk has gone around, as you can see, Kirk's gone off at the left-hander. He's dropped all the way down to 19th, 20th for Kirk. He just made a mistake for that left-hander. Lost the rear end, and he's gone way down the field to 20th now. Such a shame. He was in the top at the front of that pack there, had a chance to get some good points, but he's got a lot of work ahead of him now to get back ahead of this big scrapple that's going on here in the midfield.
In practice, he's shown that the car's quick. I'm sure he'll be able to cut a way through there, but absolutely a real drama. Oh my goodness me! Just riding on board with Heinemann there in the Cosmo car, taking all the road and then a bit more, and almost running into the wall on the exit of turn 11 there. That you better not be doing that too often, you'll be warned for track limits, but goodness gracious me, keeping that one just out the wall as he's trying to catch up with McGlade, and Stone Smith's just ahead. So all sorts going on, and Polaris might want to watch. He's come up from 15th now, he's right behind Hinneman in 10th. So, and Hinneman, he's gone wide, and it looks like Polaris has got a much better exit. This should be, relatively speaking, a done deal as they run down towards turn 1. Who's going to have the more wing? Who's going to have the better top-end speed? It looks like Hinneman to me. My eye, who's going to be late on the brakes? Oh, you can't really move across like that. Oh dear, that was a little clumsy, but looks like both drivers are still going. Oh, Polaris is gone, and he's lost his front wing. Oh, that is not good. That's
just for Polaris.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, different venues.
Yeah, that's definitely any chance of points gone now, but you never know, he might be able to make his way up on the reverse grid we have for race 2. Meanwhile, Petter Burlak, he's extending his gap and continuing to extend his gap as well. Lap 16 of 18 here, coming up to a third complete in a moment. Gap now up to 1.6 seconds, near enough. And that gap is then almost replicated back between Holmes and Strawn. Strawn, he's got by the Smart Power car of Tolberg. Didn't quite see that one, but Strawn, evidently he wants to get on with it. He looked quick, and he's been able to move forward.
Yeah, look out for the walk racing there of Peter Duvalo as well. He is closing in on Jesper as well. Jesper seems to be struggling a bit here. He's falling into the clutches of the people behind. Keep an eye out for Peter there to make a move too. But I did just notice as well while the fight was going on, Ben Warren, another one that lost his front wing there in that midfield scuffle, so he's limping around as well. So he's going to drop a long way back. He's way down, and I think about 31st, from that front wing loss. So he's going to have to pit as well. So his chance of being in that midfield fight, possibly reverse grid as well, is near to gone now. So it'll be interesting to see how far up he can climb from there.
Always unfortunate when you do get contact, but given the nature of this track, it's to be expected. But meanwhile, there's actually a nice fight brewing here for P8. Our protagonists here are Smits and McGlade, and McGlade, he's clearly No, he's enjoying the race so far. He actually tried to go around the outside of Smith here. Oh my goodness me, that was a cheeky little "I'm here," you know. And luckily Sven, he saw that one coming and gave him just enough space, and also got just about enough room to get the traction down. But Lewis, he's clearly wanting to go forward. That Aurora car clearly working well here in race 1. So Lewis definitely wants to keep an eye on. You never know if a reverse grid could be one of our protagonists for race 2.
Indeed, and also, as we've said already with the Cosmo of Tim Heinemann there, he's in the action in this first race. He's under pressure from Sandeep Chode at the moment for that 10th spot. Nico as well is closing onto the back. That midfield is just spread out a little bit more. Behind Bruno, there's a little bit of a pack behind Bruno in 16th. You've got Sam Smith and Ben Hackinson there, really looking to get through. And then Ben was behind, actually, in 19th. A little bit of a battle there in the latter half of the field. But yeah, as you can see, Sven there just holding off Lewis. Lewis looking very, very aggressive. I'd say any moment now he should be looking to make a move here, looking very, very feisty indeed.
So one thing to keep an eye on between our leading two is the gap has shrunk by over half a second on this lap. Holmes now up, or just within a second. In fact, he set the fastest lap of the race. Last time around, he was only a tenth quicker than Burlack, but it was, well, it's a 10th gain on him there, and good lap all in all to set the best lap of the race so far. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that one. Strawn, he's in third. He's increasing his gap to Jesper. And yeah, by the looks of it, just Jesper not being able to carry his speed as we go into almost the halfway, or getting towards the halfway point of the race here. We never know, there might be some conservation going on. We don't know quite what the wear will be like, if pit stops will be required. So definitely things to keep an eye on here. You never know who might come back strongly in the second half of the race.
Indeed, and as we've seen with battles again, Sandeep Chode still is he's actually under pressure now from Miko now. Tim has just managed to gap him a little bit there in 10th spot, and Sandeep's got some big trouble there with Miko all over his back. But Sven's still under pressure from Lewis McGlade. That fight is definitely brewing. As you can see, it's a big gap up to Timo. It's about 6 seconds up to Timo Toika there in 7th place. So they've got a long way to go if they want to try and catch back up to those front half a dozen at the front of the field. But those are very, very close battle. It's probably one of the closest in the field at the moment. There's Lewis there trying to get a good exit, but not really close enough. He tries to scare him. Where's he going? He's going. No. Doesn't almost half go there, but not going to go for it fully. It's Tim Heinemann still under pressure from Sandeep Chode there in 10th place.
So dramas or developing race strategy, one of the two. Holmes has taken 6/10 out of Burlack again on this lap. The gap down to just 0.3 of a second. The battle has resumed, so we're going to have to keep a really close eye on this. Just want to shout out, great drive back through the field for James Kirk. He had a moment just a few laps ago, down all the way to P20 or so. He's already back up to 13th, so he's clearly got that Bastovic car running well, and he's siving his way back through the field. So good recovery for him there. And look at Holmes, he's coming up to turn 4 here. There's definitely not room for 2 cars through there. So he's just putting his, a little bit of oversteer there, a little bit of power down as well. He's just putting himself in Petter's mirrors there, just making him think, oh, hang on, there's a car there. Should I be turning? Do I have to start thinking about my braking zones? It's that little bit of pressure, you never know. Just a little crack. We haven't seen it from Petter very often, but there's a slight mistake, and that could be the win for Holmes. That'd be great for Tanskin to further cement their position in the constructors.
Indeed, and he's definitely all over him. There's something, as you say, is it strategy? Is it maybe he's trying to save his tyres to the end? He's just taking a bit more on the gap there, just opening it up ever so slightly. But Holmes definitely looking a lot more racy here than Petter. But it's possibly his strategy. Maybe he is just trying to save these tyres. They were saying tyre wear is an issue, so maybe he's trying to save those tyres so he can really have something to find with at the end of the race. But that'll be one to really keep an eye at the front there. As I look through the field here, Sven is still battling with Lewis McGlade. They're still sort of there. So actually, Tim Heinemann down in. Oh no, Tim Heinemann's lost his front wing.
Oh!
Falling down the field. Oh, he's having such a great race and lost his front wing. Obviously, he had some kind of contact with that big battle with Sandeep Chode and Miko there. But still battling out, by the way. But that is a real shame for Cosmo. He was looking like getting some really nice points in this one. But he's going to have to pit and drop way down the field, so it'll be interesting to see where he comes out after that.
Hugely unfortunate, but as these things go, you know, just one mistake in these open wheel cars and that can be your race done and good night. I know that from when I was driving earlier in the season, and we did see him earlier. He was well and truly using all the track and perhaps a bit more in some places, so hugely unfortunate for the Cosmo guys, but I'm sure he's got the pace. He'll be back strong in the second race. Meanwhile, the gap between Holmes and Burlack, it's now less than 0.2 of a second. Holmes really, really on the march. As we were saying a second ago, I'm just trying to look from Holmes' perspective here at Petter. I can't see any damage on that car. I can't see any sort of wings or anything like that being missing. Is it mind games? Is it strategy? Who knows? But Petter, clearly, he's got some sort of issue that he's having to manage and deal with. Yeah, we've only just gone over. Well, we are on our 9th of 18 laps here, just about to complete that move on to lap 10. So we're at half distance, but clearly something not quite right on that walk racing car. We'll have to keep an eye on it. Because for my money, Holmes, well, he's caught all the way back up. I'm sure he'll be able to get an opportunity in the next 8 or so laps to get by.
Indeed, and I've just noticed actually Jesper Tolberg is under big pressure from Peter Duvelar at the moment, fourth place here for Smilefire. He's going defensive into turn 1. Peter's going to try and go around there a long way here into turn 1, round the outside. Is he going to make a stick? Oh, and he gets it. There you go, round the outside, easy as you like, actually quite easy there. Didn't make it look too hard, although I speak too soon, yes, but they're getting a good exit out of the corner. Is he going to try and get him back? No, not close enough, but good move there from Peter. Nice, clean move round the outside, saw him defend, went round the outside. Very, very nice to keep it held there all the way around. So he's now up in the 4th. Jesper down to 5th, and as we've said already, he's just not seeming to hold the pace. He's struggling to hold on to this leading trio. So interesting to see if maybe even Terrace Grench behind can capitalise on this and try and get 5th off Jesper.
Yep. And it might just be, you never know, just how the drivers have set their cars up, just working the tyres in different ways. Perhaps, you got almost a phase of graining where the car just doesn't quite feel the same, and you just want to take that extra moment just to make sure that you don't push it too far. And it could be just a case of the car's not working well now, but they might work well later. But anyway, keeping an eye on this fight still between Holmes and Burlack. It looks to me, it might just be the nature of the track, but Petty's just putting the car in all the right places just to cover any move that Holmes tries to put on him. As we're going around turn 13 there, coming to 14 to complete our 11th lap. Holmes got a mega exit last time round and was able to get almost alongside. And look how much more of the curb there that Petter was having to use just to open up that steering lock, take some pressure off those tyres. Look at that, it was all the way alongside. Who's going to have the last of the late breakers? Ooh, it looks like fairly even to me. Carl Whitt, Petter's gone properly defensive, and he's been able to keep the momentum going through that corner. It opens up after the apex, so he's able to carry a bit more speed. Ooh, a little switch there from Holmes. But no way through in turn 2 there, so I have to see if he's able to manufacture anything. But as you go through the second sector, so tight and twisty, it needs to be a mistake more than an overtake move to get by someone through here.
Indeed. And it's still just 0.1. He's definitely all over him. He looks very racy, as you can see there. Petty going very wide there, but he's just trying to do, I noticed in WSS too with a couple of guys there. Oh, look at that, Peter having to go defensive into the chicane of all places. Not really an overtaking spot, so he's really seeming to be struggling. Again, as we said, not sure if it's a strategy thing or if he is genuinely struggling with some kind of problem, but it just doesn't look that great, right? It doesn't look like he's very comfortable, and Holmes is all over the back of him. He's just absolutely harassing him. You've got to think, if he can hold off and not fall under pressure, he's doing a really good job. He certainly is so far, as he's not quite close enough. But as we just look through the field, let's have a look back further on. It looks like Lewis, actually, where is Sven's actually? Oh, he's down in 11th now, so clearly had some kind of an incident there. Lewis McGlade all on his own in 8th now, so clearly Sven Smits there has had some kind of a problem or an off or something, because he's fallen well down the field from where he was before. So interesting to see if he can fight his way back up the field. There's actually a nice little battle right behind him there between Hansko and Mark Wicks there, 12th place. So.
Sorry to interrupt you here, but Holmes, he's at it again. He's having a good look at Petter. He got, a much better exit. But Petter, he's covered that inside line nicely. Oh, but he doesn't look to have got very good exit. Can Holmes do anything round into turn 2? He's on the brakes latest. Can he go all the way around the outside? Petter's there. He's still there on the inside. He's going to have to leave him high and dry into turn 3. But no, he gives him the space. He's off his gentleman's hat. And Holmes, he's still in 2nd place. Good, respectful driving there. If you'd really pushed the limits, perhaps used all the track as you potentially could have, you could have ended up in an accident there. So good stuff from these two. Fighting hard, but fighting fairly is what we like to see. But Holmes for my money, that car is working better over this mid-distance. We're on lap 13 of 18, 2/3 done. It's, I think, going to be more a matter of time now.
Yeah, definitely agreed at this point, especially right then. I mean, he saw how close he was. He almost went all the way around the outside into turn 2. That is just crazy to make a move down there, and he almost made it stick. But as you said, very good respect for both the drivers. I mean, that could have very easily ended in both of them crashing out and retiring and wrecking their championship hopes. But credit to him to keep it clean, have the respect, and leave each other room to be able to continue racing throughout this race. And Eric Strand is keeping with him. He may be slightly closing in. So he's one maybe to watch. If things get a bit heated here at the front, he might really capitalise. If anything happens to Holmes, 3 tenths off. Here we go again. Will he go defensive? Petter is staying to the racing line at the moment.
Right there, he's made his move.
Yep. Oh, lap traffic car getting in the way here at the pit lane. Hopefully he won't try and affect this battle. He's not really close. He's going to try and go right here, go inside to turn 2. Oh, he's looking close. This is going defensive Petter again, but not really able to get it done. Once more, again, Petter, as we've already said here multiple times, just putting the car in the right places, making sure that Holmes can't make any moves here with these early corners.
Absolutely, and the real beneficiary here, as you mentioned just a second ago, will be Strawn. He's just driving his own race right now, as Petter very wide there through turn 3, beg your pardon, turn 4. Strawn, he's going to be driving his own race. You know, he's not up behind anyone. He'll have no dirty air to deal with. You never know if these two do have a moment. We hope it doesn't happen, but if they do, he'll be in the right place at the right time to benefit, as Jesper did the last time out in race 1. So we'll have to wait and see. This is a superb fight we're having. And actually, it's not just here we're having superb fights. Up and down the field, there's all sorts going on. James Kirk, he had a moment earlier. He's up into 12th now. We've got Hansko Mebius. He was down in around 15th. He's in 11th. Sandeep Choda, great shout out to him. He's up into P10 from his starting position. McLean's been driving well. Duvalar's been driving well. All sorts of superb drives up and down the field. And we're not even, 3/4 of the way done yet. So plenty of time for things to happen. Great racing so far.
Indeed. And actually, in the one battle that stepped down the back of the, not the back, in the middle of the field there, 16th for place heat Bruno in 16th there. He's got a bit of a train behind him, Ben Willis and Ollie Pelkonen. And actually, Adam Osko is not far behind either, so
sorry
to battle there in the midfield.
Sorry to interrupt, but Holmes has done it. He's gone around the outside of turn 1. I cannot believe he was just able to do that and carry the speed and momentum. But Petter's coming back at him. He's on the outside now. Roles reversed. Who leaves room for whom? By the looks of it, poor Petter. He was a little cheeky there, but they're still both going. Who's going to be brave here? I don't think there's really much of an inside line. And it looks like Petter's had to yield a bit, and Holmes, he's going to run him out of room there, but the move is done. I thought it was only going to be a matter of time. Superb stuff. Just leaning on that car just a little bit, getting it, that momentum around turn 1. Great stuff. Holmes is your leader. Petter, he's dropped it. He's dropped it. Those anti-cuts we did shout out earlier, they were going to be something to watch for. These cars can't take them very well. Looks a bit, just the rear's locked up. I think his tyres are done. I think Petter's rear tyres have had enough. And that was just a lock-up. Perhaps a little bit too much brake for this point in the race, but that's given away second place to Strawn. He's only 1.4 behind Holmes, and let's see if he's been able to maintain his car. Or, plot twist, if Petter's now all fired up and has actually been saving his tyres and can progress through, as we just have 3 laps remaining once they complete this one. So these top 3, I think anyone could potentially grab it. It's all about who's got that car sorted as far as wear and everything goes on this track, which is notorious for high tyre wear and fuel usage.
Indeed. Actually, look at Holmes. 1.5 seconds. He's just got a nice little buffer there over Strawn, but we'll see if Petter can get back at Eric Strawn. But definitely with that mistake, he just doesn't look that comfortable to me. As you say, it may well be that the tyres have gone. He just doesn't look as consistent, and that mistake really proves, as you say, he very rarely makes mistakes, does Petter, but that was an interesting mistake there through the chicane, so just doesn't seem happy with that car. And I actually did notice just then, this is big in the championship standings, David Junt for THR has retired. He actually retired on lap 4 with suspension damage, so he's up in the top 3 for the championship, and he's not going to make any points here in race 1, so there's a big impact on his championship hopes in this one.
That's a great spot. Didn't even realise that. As you say, that's got huge championship ramifications. We did have it a few rounds ago where James Johnson and Scott Beresford, as it was at the time, the championship protagonists all the way back in Montreal, they both had an evening of scoring no points, and it shook the table up. Might be up for the same again. I'm just keeping an eye actually on our fight currently for P5 and P6. That's between Gretsch and Tolberg. It looks to me that Tolberg's tyres potentially has had enough. He's been locking up into several of the corners, and Gretsch is right on the gearbox as we go through turn 11 here to complete sector 2 here. As we now run down towards 12, there's going to be this long straight. Oh, Gretsch has a quick look. Perhaps the sun settles Jesper a bit. He has to check where his rival is in his wing mirror. But I think Gretsch is going to be thinking about getting a good exit from turn 14 and lining up for a move down into turn 1. We'll have to see if that is the reality of it all. Meanwhile, Holmes, he's been able to keep the gap. Oh my goodness me, as Gretsch, he's got right under the rear wing. and actually touch the rear of the gearbox of Torborg's car there, and I think that's going to actually compromise his run down here into turn 1, so perhaps want to move on this lap. But Holmes, he's maintained the gap just about to Strawn, and Petter, he's actually dropped back a little bit, and as I say that, of course, Gretsch, he's been able to get up the inside into turn 1. Job done, he's up into P5, Jesper down into P6. As things stand, there's a nice gap between Jesper and the next car, which is Teemu Toika. So hopefully, as long as he keeps on the island, Jesper, he should be confirmed a 6th place there.
Yeah, and actually, it was interesting to note there, we've seen a lot of people there going to the inside trying to defend that line down into turn 1, but interesting to note, Jesper, he just stayed on the racing line, didn't really fight it. I sensed, as you say, if his tyres are gone, he may have made a bit of a smart move there, and that rather than getting entangled with Terrace, he's just going to let him go, let him have the place, finish in 6th, and make sure that he finishes the race, which may actually be a smarter move at the end of the day than risking throwing the car away and not getting the points, especially because he's up there in the championship as well. But an interesting battle as well for 8th place with Lewis McGlade and Nico Salkis as well. They're in 8th, they're battling quite hard, and actually 10th behind. Actually, no, not him, sorry, it's 11th, 11th Hansco and James Kirk, actually. They're fighting there pretty hard for 11th place. As Kirk is back in, actually, yeah, sorry, wrong people, sorry, he is 10th and 11th, and then James Kirk around 12th, who's got Mark Wicks behind him. It's kind of interesting note with James Kirk, he came through the field quite fast in the first few laps after his mistake, but he's sort of just gone nowhere now this last half of the race. Possibly the tyres are going as well. I mean, you can see a lot of people are struggling, so maybe he's also struggling with some tyre problems.
Could be a factor, but I'll tell you what isn't a factor. Holmes, now he's got free air, he's just set the fastest lap of the race. So evidently his car is feeling fresh, it's feeling ready, and as we are on our 18th of 18 laps here, the next time by the line, you'll see the checkered flag. Holmes is going to be coming through for a superb win, as long as the curse of the commentator 1 does not strike and he keeps it on the track and fully fueled and all the rest. A great race from him there, but as you were saying, there's still fights to be had. I think that's actually Smith down at turn 1. He just had a moment and ran a little wide there, so I think there's perhaps beneficial pace gains for a few drivers there. But as we're now going through sector 2 here for the final time here in race 1, Strawn, he hasn't been able to catch. The gap has gone up to 2 seconds, and Burlock is actually falling off the back of Strawn as well. But Peter Doverley, a good solid drive. He hasn't really gone forward rapidly, but he's stayed where he is, which, as far as points go for teams, is good stuff, because Walk, they're currently 5th. This will be a good bucket of points to take forward, and especially with the likes of David Young for THR not finishing the race here, they'll definitely jump them on the provisional results here. But as he comes around the final corner, Jonathan Holmes, after a superb race, evidently managing that car to perfection and pulling off one of the greatest moves I've seen so far this year, wins race 1. Congratulations to Jonathan Holmes and the Tansman Racing team. And Eric Strawn comes home in 2nd, with Petter Burlak after that little moment of mistake. He's come home in 3rd.
Indeed, and then Peter Duvalo has managed to hold 4th, as we said. Terence Grench in 5th. That was actually a good job there to get past Jesper Tolberg, but as I said, Jesper didn't really put up much of a fight, but obviously just trying to make sure he gets to the end of the race. Jesper Tolberg in 6th, so not a bit interesting. He's 12 seconds off the pace at the end there, just fell off the pace quite a lot there in that last half of the race. So interesting to see with his car obviously not handling the tyres too well there at all, as Teemu Toika comes home in 7th for velocity. Lewis Mulgay did manage to hold off Nico there for 8th. Very close battle that was, but he just managed to hold him off. Nico there in 9th. And then Sandeep Choda in 10th. He rounds out your top 10 here in the race 1 at Hungary.
And in 11th place we have Hammersko Mevius, the 2nd Enterprise car, so good score of points there. Then we've got James Kirk, he's in P12 after his little moment, so good drive there, solid point score. And then we've got Martin Wicks in the Katana car, he is followed by Sam Jones in the 2nd Aurora Motorsports car, so double points finish for those guys. And Ben Hackerson driving the Smile Power racing car, he rounds out our points finishes. So again, double points finish for Smile Power there, he is in P15, so that is our points finishes. And to round out our remaining runners and riders, we have Ollie Pelkin in 16th. Bruno Sosa Ferreira in the Place car in 17th, Adam Osger in the YTF1 finished 18th, Ben Willis finished 19th, and John McLean finished in 20th.
Indeed, and then 21st is UR29 in there, 2H THR in 21st. Actually, as I said, the griddy was actually at the back, so he charged for the field a bit there. Good charge from Tinanen to get 21st. And Andreas Petrov's there for 22nd. Tim Straub for place seat 23rd. Rob Mason 24th for YTF1. And Tin Heinemann came back through 25th after having to pit for repairs with that front wing. Likewise with Ben Warren coming back up 26th after having to pit for repairs. Ollie Woods 27th for velocity, and it's Vikings. William Neron 28th. Simon Smith 29 for the back marker brigade, and 30th is his teammate Marco Vanderbroek.
Then we have Sven Smits, Dovidus Polaris, David Yunt, and Ben Horrell all retired with suspension failure. So evidently some dramas up and down the field there. Those four will be starting at the back. We'll now have our reverse grid from P20 to 15 to shake up the grid. So that concludes race 1, and goodness, there was all sorts to keep an eye on there. This track perhaps isn't conducive to overtaking opportunities, but we saw a lot of movement and shaking and some good recoveries. And all in all, I must admit, I still have no idea how on earth drivers are able to hang around turns 1 and 2 there and try those outside moves. Quite something.
Yeah, they must have them hooked up very well, especially as we said, Holmes there with that move was a brilliant move around the outside. He must just have that thing hooked up very, very well for them to be able to hold on to them and not lose the rear end through those corners. And interesting to see with David Yunt retiring there for that race. That is very big impact for him in the championship chase. So interesting to see how he goes coming through the field from race 2. From way back there, he'll be 33rd on the grid, so a big task ahead of him for race 2.
Absolutely, but this being race 2, you never know what might happen. There hasn't been any weather. There's potential for it. Of course, there's always potential for weather. You tend to have it anyway, but we could have potentially some rain. We don't know. We'll have to wait until we obviously get there, but you never know with some unexpected factors, as we always get in motorsport. A little bit of rain here, a little bit of a car out of position there. And actually, with the midfield that we have, and them all being so close, and of course, those guys will be all up the front of the order to start. I'm sure we're going to have some great scraps for the lead. And of course, you're going to have your quick guys, your race winners, trying to make their way through that pack. So, plenty to keep an eye on race 2. Tom, any particular highlights other than the superb overtaking we've just seen?
Well, for me, I think that just that well done from Holmes there. Very good drive to get past Petter, like we said, with that overtake and take the win. Good stuff from him. But I think just generally, midfield, some very nice battles there. As we said, Lewis McGlade was in it. Tim Heinemann, until he had that damage, was having some very nice battles there in about 10th, 11th spot. He did very well to come up from about, I think it was 12th and 13th on the grid, up to 8th at one point. So it was a shame he had that damage, but such is racing, I guess. But yeah, I think for me, it was just very impressive racing the midfield there. Some very close, but mostly clean battles from what I saw anyway in that midfield. So definitely a very entertaining race, and I'm looking forward to this one with the reverse grid. It could bring up some very interesting battles and results.
Absolutely, and actually, I mean, that was perhaps the highlight for me, is just how clean and fair and respectful all the moves and things we saw. No one was being funny with trying to push each other off or trying to cut each other up or moving twice, to defend. All clean, respectful, and to the letter stuff. And, great race, great results for everyone. And as we wait for our reverse grid number to be picked, in fact, it just has been, Ollie Pelkonen, who finished in P16, he will be in pole position. We will obviously have our top 16 reverse there, and we've got some movers and shakers in that, as it finished 10th to 15th place. You never know, they might be able to grab a bucket of points here in race 2. And given the nature of this track, it might be the opportunity just to stop where people is, stop overtaking and whatnot. You never know, you might be able to hold on to those places.
Yeah, very, very true, very true. That will be the defining factor. How risky will they be willing to go? I mean, we saw there was some close ones. As you saw at the front there, they were close. They did have a couple of little touches, but as we said, they were respectful. They didn't go too hard. They didn't cut each other off. They just respected themselves, gave themselves space, and that was why we had that fantastic racing there we had at the front for that last race. But one interesting thing to watch will be James Kirk this time. He'll be obviously up the front, near the front. I think he'll be 4th or 5th for the reverse grid. So interesting to see. We know he's got the pace, but can he this time not get involved in the instances? Can he have the consistency to be able to stick at the front, possibly get a really good result, maybe in a podium or a win? Who knows?
Yep, you never know. He did this last year. He got himself in those good positions for race 2, and definitely was contending for good finishes. That's for sure. But we're just seeing in the driver chat after the race, by the looks of it, there were a few dramas and things up and down the field, and by the looks of it, James was one of those affected by one of those dramas. So you never know, he might have been able to move through the Ford. It was just a little drama here and there, just cost him. But anyway, all in the past now. We're now going to focus on race 2. We have 3 and a bit minutes here remaining in our warm-up, as the drivers are just getting used to the cars again on full fuel. And as we all know, driving a Formula-style car, you start with all your weight in the car, and obviously it'll all burn off as the race goes on, and the car's dynamic really changes. Tom, I mean, did you experience any of that when you were driving the WSS car here this last week?
I think I did, and as well, obviously, tyre wear, even in WSS, which generally isn't that bad of an issue. Even here, I definitely noticed at the end of the race, the tyres were feeling quite ordinary. So I did definitely notice it. Definitely the car felt lighter with the fuel burning off, and the tyres going as well was not a very good combo. But it was definitely a lot of fun when I did that, and I did actually have a couple of laps in the Formula Challenge cars here on the practice server. My times weren't that great, just so everyone knows, but I did get a feel for how the cars were, and as I said earlier on, those sausage curves were real killers, and that's one thing you got to watch out for, even not just then, just the curbs in general. If you take too much, as we know with open wheel cars, no suspension travel pretty much at all, it's all in the tyre. So you take too much suspension, too much curbing, and it can really hurt you in the long run if you're a bit too aggressive.
Absolutely, and of course these curves I noticed in just running around in advance of commentary tonight. The curbs, they start low and they build up ever so sneakily as you go through the corner, almost to force you off the curb. And yeah, with these cars, with the suspensions as they have, I mean, we saw just that little momentary lapse from Petter there. Went in over backwards over one of those sausage curbs, and he got well and truly launched. So hopefully we won't be seeing too many drivers having moments on those curves, but with drivers out of position potentially, we could have people trying interesting and bold moves, and they might just run out of space, and well, hopefully we won't have any issues, but you never know. These curves and obviously the wonderful nature of reverse grid, you never know what you might come across.
Yes, that's very, very true, and I think it'll make this, as we've already said, this will make the lack of overtaking here at Hungary. This will really test that with the reverse grid. Of course, you'll have front runners with big pace, especially Holmes and Petter as well. They'll be, and Eric Strand as well. Just generally the top 4 or 5, they all had quite clear pace over the rest of the field. So if with them further back, it'll be interesting to see them trying to climb through the field. So it'll be definitely a bit more hectic, I would say, but as long as they can be respectful, like they seem to be most of the time in race 1, if they can just be respectful, give each other space, then we should be able to get through this, but we'll have to see. I'm expecting there might be an incident or two, but we'll have to see how this goes.
Absolutely. And as we just are entering here, our final moments of the warm-up before race 2, anyone you want to shout out as one to watch?
Well, I would say, the obvious ones, because of reverse grid, the obvious ones, Holmes, Petter as well. Well, actually, he'll be one to watch to see how he handles the car, see if he handles it better in race 2. Maybe he'll be a bit more used to it now, be more used to what to expect in the car. Especially at the end of that race there, after he got overtaken and made that mistake, he did seem to bring a bit more of that consistency back. He managed to hold on to the end of Strand. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes here in the reverse grid with that car maybe not performing as he wants it to. But I'd say the front ones, definitely, as I said, James Kirk, he'll be one to watch coming through there. He'll be about 5th or 6th, so he'll be in a prime spot to take advantage of that reverse grid. And just generally, a lot of the guys in that top sort of 15, 16, a lot of them there are to watch. The Vikings obviously being up near the front here in this reverse grid, they'll be ones to watch to try to hold on. So yeah, definitely a lot of people to watch in this one. What are your picks, Jogi?
To be honest, I think he did a lot of Strand moved his way through the field brilliantly last time out. I'm sure he's going to be one to watch. Anyway, we're now forming up our grid here as we prepare for race 2. We've got 20 or so seconds remaining. We've got all the cars to get out to grid, and once they all are, we will run through our grid order here for race 2 here in Formula Challenge. And actually, do my eyes deceive me, or is it ever so slightly wet offline? That is what the information is telling me. That might just be some leftover residue, who knows. But one thing to keep an eye on here, you never know with the weather. Anyway, our leaders are now underway to lead us around on our formation lap. Starting on pole position is Ollie Pelkinen for Viking Racing. He is joined on the first row by Ben Haxon in the Smile Power car. Sam Jones is in P3 for Aurora Motorsports. Mark Wicks follows him in the Katana Motorsports car, and James Kirk starts in P5 for Vestavik Grand Prix. He's followed by Hansko Medius for Enterprise, Sandeep Choda, who had a great race in race 1 for JRT, and you got Miko Sokas in the Tanskin car. He starts in P8. Lewis McGade, he starts in P9. He moved forward, so I'm sure he'll have a chance of moving forward again now. And he's followed by Timu Toika, and Jesper Tolberg follows him, the second of the Smile Power racing cars. Terence Gretsch will be starting in P12, and he is followed by both the Walk Racing cars, Peter Duvlay and Petter Burlak. Then you have Eric Strand rounding out on top 50.
Indeed, and then you have our race 1 winner, Jonathan Holmes, one to keep an eye on, as we said, with Eric Strand, those guys at the back end there, in the mid-teens, they'll be the guys to look out for. Then you've got Bruno Sousa in the play seat in 17th, just missing out on reverse grid pole. Then you've got Adam Osker for ITF1, Ben Willis for Night Racing, Jonathan McLean for Team Proline. That's Johan 29, and as I said, came through the field from the back, so he'll be on to keep an eye out, see how his pace is for this one. There's Andreas Petrov for Zetorek, is in 22nd. Kinstrub for play seat 23rd. Mason, 24th for YTF1. Tim Heinemann, he had the pace in the race 1. Let's see how he goes in race 2. He's in 25th for Cosmo. It's Ben Warren for Racing Team Stroden, Ollie Woods for Velocity, William Neron for Viking, and then the 2 back markers of Simon Smith and Marco Vanderbroek.
Then our final 4 starters, we have Sven Smits, he's starting in P31 for Team Proline. Novidas Polaris, he had a good run through the field last time out in race 1 at Hockenheim. Can he do it again? He's starting P32. Then David Junt in THR, starts P33. And our final starter for tonight in race 2 is Ben Horrell in the second of the Cosmo. Autosport cars, he starts P24. Now, as we're just waiting for the grid to run round here and form up on the start finish, our leaders are just parking up into their boxes as oh, actually, I think we might have just had a spinner at the back there. I think that might have been Heinemann. Indeed, it was. He should be able to regain his position, I believe. He's just trying to scoot by cars here. He has to be careful, of course, because cars will be trying to get themselves lined up. He's just having to make his way through. He's just about there in time, so he'll be starting P25. But everyone's now in their boxes, and the light's now on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we are racing. Long hold, but it looks like Pelkin's got a decent start. Hackerson, he's got a good start as well, and Sam Jones, he's close in. No real movement between these top 3 drivers. Wicks, he's got a decent start, but it looks like Ben Hackerson, he's got the car up the inside. It's all drama. Sam Jones trying to go up the inside as well. So you've got Pelkinen, he leads after all that. He's followed by Hackerson. James Kirk, we said to keep an eye on him. He's up to P3, although we've got, by the looks of it, oh no, he's down to P4 now. Mark Wicks has gone around the outside of him. And that was Sam Jones in the Aurora car. He's getting feisty. He was trying to go up there. He's in P5. Kirk down to P4 as Sandeep, he's made a good start. He's right behind all this, going through turn 4 here on lap 1. Oh, huge accident at turn 4. Don't know what happened there. Massive accident, and there's bound to be some smoke after that one. By the looks of it, that was just too many cars into one gap, and everyone's been collected by that. Who's been affected? It looks like everyone back from about P3 onwards. But Pelkinen's loving it. He's got a huge gap to James Kirk, who's been able to profit from that somehow. He's in second, just going through sector 2 here. The gap is a couple of seconds, I'd say, as the cars are trying to make their way through the field.
Indeed, and I've actually just noticed poor old Jonathan Holmes got involved in that. He's lost his front wing now, I think. Yeah, he's lost his front wing. Poor Jonathan Holmes, just an innocent bystander in that. By the looks of it, he's lost his front wing, so he's got a lot of time. Actually, look at that, UH29, 21st, he's up in 10, he's going to be 9. So he's profited massively from this crash. That was an absolutely huge crash. I think I've seen one this big for a while. It was a massive crash. Yeah, it turned out, as you say, I think it was just too many cars into that corner than could fit, really. So
everyone just nose to tail, trying to follow each other through, and just one person has that moment, no space to run out into, and yeah, unfortunately quite a few cars have lost wings and they're just recovering now. But having completed lap 1, we have Ollie Pelkinen, who leads for Viking Racing by 2.5 seconds to James Kirk. Then we have Teemu Tsoika. Teemu, he's had another strong start. He's now actually bearing down on Kirk. He's just going through the end of sector 1 here. And then we've got Terence Gretsch. He had a very, very good race 1, and he's evidently planning to make himself a factor in race 2. And, of course, Mr. Eric Strahan, he's made a great start in race 2. He's already up to P5. So this is going to be interesting. We've got a variety of cars here. In fact, we've got cars from 5 different teams, 6 different teams, 7 different teams. In fact, the whole top 10 is all different teams, all fighting, all with different approaches to the course. And to my eyes, is Pelkinen getting away? He is a bit, I think. Might just be my eyes, who knows. But Kirk, his gap, or the gap between himself and Kirk is 2.6. And Teemu, he's gained a chunk of time, actually. The gap down to 0.8 of a second. This is going to be one to watch in the next few laps. The whole grid, though, actually, even though we had that massive moment, is still fairly close together. We've got some moves and shakes going up and down here. Ben Haxon, he's down to P14. He was just passed by David Young. He's up into the points. He's in P13. So good recovery there. And we obviously have his teammate, as you just mentioned a second ago, 2 and 9. And what a start. He's moved way forward in the grid there. That's a P9. Great start.
Unbelievable, really. It was just unbelievable stars. Really took the field up. This is just the amount of movers here has been ridiculous. As I said, both the both the THRs have had ridiculously good starts. As I said, 2-9 in last. Well, down in the back there in 21st, I think it was. He's up in 9th. Then David Junt, after retiring, is way up in 13th. Ridiculous stuff. and they're all fighting away. And yeah, I think James Kirk will be on to watch, as you said, because he's going to have all the front runners right up behind him here, trying to get past desperately to catch up to Ollie there at the front. So he'll be on to very much watch. He's going to have to do some really hard defensive driving here to hold off the 3 behind, 4 actually, because Peter Burlack's just there as well. So a lot of very, very fast drivers right behind James Kirk. It'll be interesting to see how good his defensive driving is for the rest of this race here. He's got a long time he's going to have to hold on.
Exactly, and actually another driver to shout out, Tim Heinemann. He's up in P11 after starting all the way at the back. So evidently the drivers who had dramas, they've put those dramas aside. They've got the 5-star reviews on Broadway, and they're now really going to work here in race 2. You know, that's the beauty of reverse grid racing, and of course having 2 races in the one evening. If you make a mistake or have an issue in the first race, it's not your evening over. We've got our first retirement by the looks of it of the race. We've got Minko Sokas. He's retired with a broken suspension. That's a drama for Tansman. That won't be a car finishing up in the points, but as we now complete lap 3, moving on to lap 4, our leader still is Ollie Pelkonen. The gap now down to actually 1.5, so it looks like Kirk been able to bring a whole chunk of time out. In fact, he was nigh on almost a second quicker last lap around. But Toyka is right on the gearbox of Kirk. I don't think he's going to get the opportunity to try and overtake on his own in free air. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this. And as you were saying just a moment ago, we've got pretty much second all the way to 6th in a line now. And we've got Lewis McGlade, not a great deal, a great distance far behind 6th either. So this is going to be interesting. Who's going to have that little opportunistic look up the inside of a corner? I'm just watching Toyka here going through turn 4, all over the curbs, jumping all over the place, well controlled. James already, he's feeling the need to go defensive down to the chicane. No real way through there for 2 cars unless he got up one side nice and early. Yeah, we're going to have to see how well James can defend here. He's got a long way to go, as you were saying just a moment ago, and plenty of time for a move to be made.
Indeed, and actually I'm just going to quickly here shout out 2 cars I've noticed here that benefited big time as well from this incident. The backmarker brigade, they're not really the backmarkers in this race. Simon Smith is in 18th, and Marco's down 24th, so they're not really the backmarkers in this one. They're actually well up the field thanks to those big instances at turn 4 when it was there at the end of the first sector, so that has really benefited them too. But as you can see, James Kirk has got them all over the back of him, and they are definitely catching Ollie. They're now within 1.3 seconds of the leader, so this could be a big old scrap for the lead right now, but that incident, I think, has really benefited these guys. I mean, they're championship contenders here. Thanks to that incident, they haven't had to pass as many cars as they would have had to. Eric's actually looking at Terrace Wrench here for that 4th place. He's going to try and go around the outside. He's going to do what they keep doing, try and hold around the outside. No, he's going to try and go for the switchback, get that exit. He's going to look down into the end. In fact, James Kirk is looking like he might lose that spot to Timu Torker as well. He's going to go around the outside. He's done it, is he?
Oh, they're still side by side. Still side by side. Well,
he's done it.
Yeah, he's done it. Lovely stuff to do there. Again, just hanging that car around the outside. I don't think he'll get much opportunity to try and sneak by into turn 4. So Timu, he's up into 2nd place there after a good defence there from Kirk.
Yeah, Strahlen this race, Strahlen was looking very, very dangerous there. Terrace, I thought he'd actually dive down the inside. It would have been a very dangerous move. He pulled back, respect to him, didn't make the move. He's all over Terrace Branch, who's getting big pressure from him, and even Peter Burlack as well. As we said, Lewis McGlade is not far off either. He could really benefit if they start to slow each other up, battling it out. But there you go, Timu Torker through into 2nd. See if he can really catch on to Ollie Pelkonen there at the lead. It's 1.5, and he's just closed down to 1.3. So the gap is closing quite dramatically. So let's see if Timu can do it, as they're still pressuring James.
And of course, as these fights are going on, the real beneficiaries are all of those who are ahead of the fight, because these guys are going to be fighting, they're going to be slowing each other down, and they're going to be using up their tyres. So if you can get around the issue, as Timu has done now, you can run in that free air, start to run your own race, and bridge the gap. Now, as all this has been going on, unfortunately, Joa Tuinainen, our star starter there, he's actually retired. An incident of some form off screen, but he has broken his suspension. Not only that, but Rob Mason has just retired. He had an accident, and Tim Straub, he has reported, did not finish. So I don't know what that was for, but dramas. We had 4 retirements already, and we are on lap 6 of 18. Ollie Pelkonen still leads, and Toyka is bearing down.
Indeed, and as and James Kirk is suddenly in 6th place, so obviously made a mistake, and he's gone all the way to the back of this field. So this is almost a gift to everyone here behind. They suddenly can get free air and start to really push after Ollie here. So I don't know what Kirk did there, but something's happened, because he's dropped well to the back of this field now, or to the back of this little pack here, and he's down in 6th. As these guys now try to bear down on Ollie Pelkonen. It's now only 1.1 for him and Timu Torker. and he's looking very feisty there to take the lead. And also you can see Terrace Strange is under big pressure still from Eric Strand, and he's really pressuring the back of that Katana car there to get that move done. And he's looking very feisty. Now, I'll just have a quick look down the field here. 10th place, actually. Adam Oscar there in 10th. He's got a big old train behind him, all the way down to about 15th or so. 16th, actually. There's a big train in midfield once again, like the first race. So, same sort of stuff there. That'll be interesting to watch as they battle it out in the midfield.
Absolutely. Yeah, unfortunately didn't quite see what happened to James there if it was an incident or a lapse of concentration, but he is now down into P6. We saw he had a good recovery drive. He'll really have to wrang everything out of that Bastovic car to keep with these guys. As, my goodness, it is a real proper slipstream train. We've got Burlak, Strahan, Grench and Toika all following the lovely tow which Ollie Pelkonen is providing. And it looks like Gretsch and Strahan. Strahan's around the outside in turn 1. He's on the inside for turn 2. Can he get the move done? No, not quite. Gretsch looks like he's going to try and hang around the outside. Strahan is ahead for turn 3, and that's a done deal. So Strahan up to P3. He wants to get another race win to his name, which he did last time out in race 2. Can he repeat it? Oh, big slide through turn 4, and he's lost the place. Oh, can he hang it all the way around the outside in corner 5? He just about does. Who's going to be late on the brakes here? Oh, looks like Gretsch. He's played that one nicely. Nicely done into that chicane. You touch those curves, you are well and truly toast. And by the looks of Eric, he realised that. He was sensible about that. If he's going to get another move, there's plenty of time to do it, so no point risking it all now. Lovely stuff there from those two. A battle going through most of the second sector is now strong. He's got a really good exit. It's still going down into sector 3. These guys really battling hard. And if I was strong, I'd start to think, okay, this is not quite working here and now. Let's get a move done into turn 1. Great scrap here. And everyone now, Lewis McGlade, P7, he's catching up to this now. Heinemann, he's up to P8 now. He's going to be catching this before long. This is a proper little fight going on, and the whole grid is bunching up. Pelkonen still leads. We've got Toik, who's close behind. He's now less than 2/10 behind. But to my eye, Timu's got the same straight line speed. But there's a little look up there from Ollie. He's just about to got the car stopped and around the corner, but his exit has been well and truly compromised. Timu's having a look down into turn 2. Oh, goodness gracious me, by the looks of it, there might have been just a tad of contact there. Thankfully, no real damage done there, but Timu, clearly he wants to get by him. He wants to get a little bit of a gap before these leaders catch up. He knows that he's going to have Eric Strahan and that Enterprise car bearing down on him in the near future. So Timu, he wants to get this move done as quickly as possible, if he can at all. Oh, he's trying around the outside of turn 5 here. I don't think he's going to get all the way around, but these guys fighting tooth and nail for the win here in race 2.
Indeed, and actually now look at this, Eric Strahan as well. The guys behind are also catching on, so this is going to be nearly a 5, even possibly 6-way fight for the lead. This is just incredible battle at the front. And Eric Strahan, actually, Terrace Branch has got behind Peter Burlak. He's made it up to 4th now. I think Terrace made a little mistake at the left handle at the end of their first sector, so Terrace down another place. Kirk there just behind, and McGlade catching on. As you said, Heinemann there is in 8th, and there's still that midfield battle, but it's hard to take your eyes off this battle at the front because it's just so close. It's really unbelievable. Actually, Strahan is through now into 2nd place.
Absolutely.
Through, got Timu, and now he's all over the back of Ollie. And although he's still looking, it's unbelievable. Look who's going to take who. It just could be anyone, as it may actually be Timu who might get back here at Eric Strahan. Eric already going defensive, trying to get that toe of Ollie. He's gone straight to the inside. He's not messing around. He's got the slipstream. Is he going to go for the inside? He has a look. Is he going to take the dive? Looks like not quite. So he holds on for the moment, but that is a really close fight there in these top spots.
Yep, sensible stuff. Very sensible stuff. You know, there's still a long way to go. We're going to be, we're on lap 9 of 18 now. Is a little lock up from Ollie there into turn 2. That's given Eric the opportunity to get on the back. Going through turn 3 there, up into turn 4. He's having a look. He's moving left. He's moving right. He's really trying to unsettle Ollie as we go through turn 4 now. And oh my goodness me, they lost a little bit of momentum there, and I think Eric, he was a little unsettled by that. Thankfully he was able to hold it together. But yeah, again, this looks perhaps to be more a matter of time now, unfortunately. Eric, he's clearly got that car hooked up. And Ollie, he's doing a superb job of defending his position right now. He's done a great job. He's led half the race, and I'm sure if he can keep this all together, he certainly will get a good solid points finish here, easy in the top 10 if he can keep it all together. Meanwhile, just keeping an eye back to our midfield, we've got a train now starting at P9 with John McLean. Adam Osgar is right behind him. Then you've got Bruno Sousa Ferreira in the Placey car behind him. then you've got, as you were saying, all the way back to P14, 15, all in one train. So all these places well and truly up for grabs, up for changing. And in fact, just riding on board here with Ben Warren, we just saw an attempted move there from David Young, not quite completed, but you've got all 5 of these cars scrapping. We've got 2 wide, 3 wide almost going into some of these corners as they're coming around turn 14 here now. And
sorry, just quickly interject. It looked like Eric Strahan, I thought, may have it at turn 1. Actually, he's got it. Yeah, he's got it. Eric Strahan is through into the lead, down the inside into turn 1. He tried to defend the Ollie, but he just couldn't quite cover him. So he's going to get back. Oh, nearly swipes him there, but Eric's just going to go straight back down the inside as he goes too deep. And there you go, Eric Strahan now inherits the race for Enterprise in it. Interesting to see if he can just start to spread away now as Ollie holds off everybody else behind. As now he's got Peter Burlack now. He's up into 3rd. He's managed to get past Timu now. So Peter Burlack's driving very well. He's going to go around the outside. He's trying. Is he going to actually do this? He's got it.
Done.
Unbelievable. Another outside overtake. His overtaking is ridiculous around the outside. It just seems to be the move, doesn't it? So Peter Burlack now into 2nd, and now Ollie's dropped 2 spots into corners after holding the lead for half the race. So dropping quite quickly now as everyone starts to climb all over him as he gets out of his zone, maybe, as everyone starts to overtake him.
Yep, it's quite incredible. I can't believe how many round the outside moves we've actually seen today that just you never ever consider that being an option, but we've seen several drivers just make it work. So evidently the car is set up in such a way that it's got nice grip all round, and of course this isn't really a particularly high speed track. There's lots of sort of slow and medium speed corners, so mechanical grip is important here. And evidently some of these cars really hooked up well to get nice and balanced around these corners, carrying their momentum. And we've seen Strahan come all the way through from P15, and we've got Burlack all the way through from P14, profiting well and truly there. So I think these two are going to have a good scrap. We'll have to see if Petter can maintain his tyres. There's actually Timu now, Timu Toika. Just got by Ali Pelkin in turn 1 there. Although, by those we've got Gretsch and Pelkin, they're still fighting. Gretsch, he's having a look up the inside now. Not quite enough room that time around, but it looks like Timu's got that move signed, sealed, and well and truly delivered on Pelkin there. Great defence. Having said that, Pelkin a much better exit. Is he going to go around the outside of turn 4? Oh, that was bold stuff. I don't think that would have worked. I think Timu, he just let the car run out a bit there, and thankfully there was not enough contact to cause a real drama. But Timu, he's still got that. He's got all sorts of lockups and little slides here. He's evidently fired up. Got to make sure that you keep those tyres in good health, though. Now we're over half distance. You don't want them to go away now and lose a load of positions. Meanwhile, this train, though, still continuing. Lewis Brigade continuing to catch P7. This whole top 7 could easily change. The same goes from P9 all the way down to 15.
Indeed. And so now, it's actually interesting to note the top 2, as we thought, they're starting to really pull away. They've got about 3 seconds now. Back to Timu Toika, who's just got past. And Ollie's sticking to him. Credit to Ollie. He's sticking to Timu now. He hasn't dropped well off, so he may actually have a shot at getting back past her and get that slipstream. Although Terrace Grange looking very, very aggressive here behind me. He may well use the slipstream back. Let's have a look at Ollie. Is he going to go defensive? No, he's trying to use the slipstream to Timu. Not really working. Let's keep him ahead. Will he go for the dive? I don't think so. It'd be very aggressive stuff if Terrace goes for the dive here into turn 1. Oh, he has a look. Oh, he has. Oh, he's made it. Very nice move, actually. I didn't think Ollie would let it go that easy, but very nice move from Terrace there. Very late on the brakes, and he didn't manage to lock it up. Very nice stuff. I thought that was going to end in disaster with him clouting with Ollie there, but that was very well controlled, actually, from those two. Now James Kirk is all over Ollie and Lewis McLeod, so Ollie just cannot get a break here. He's under the pressure from everyone in this race. It just never ends.
I will not lie, I was starting to flinch a bit there, seeing Terrence move up there, but credit to him. He got it done and done cleanly. And of course, if you start defending, you start thinking about drivers around you, you start thinking about yourself, where you need to put the car. Fortunately, I think Ollie, just that string of cars coming by him, it set him up almost to be passed by cars further behind again. So hopefully you can get settled through sector 2 here. Not really an overtaking opportunity through any of these corners. And James, well, he's seen others do it. Can he copy them? But mind you, of course, Ollie, he will now be wise to all these moves that everyone's been pulling. So Ollie, he's doing a great job. He's in P5 right now, and he doesn't have that much further to go. We're on lap 12 of 18, 2/3 of the way there, 6 more laps to complete. But Strahan, he still leads by 1.7 seconds over the last timing line to Petter Burlack, and Timu Toika is giving chase a further 1.5 further behind. So our top 3, they're looking pretty happy, and we've got Gretsch actually. He's not all that far back off the gearbox of Toika, so I have to keep an eye. The gap just 0.2 of a second between these two. It looks like Gretsch has got a lovely slipstream. Can he go on late on the brakes? Oop, Timu's covered that one already. He's going to try around the outside. Oh, not this time. Terence, you're going to have to try something a bit different, Timu's saying to himself. But he's got a good exit. Can he get it on the late on the brakes into turn 2 again, side by side? There seems to be grip on that outside line, so Timu's hanging it out. He's got the inside for 3, and it looks like a done deal. Terence leaving plenty of space. Good stuff from these two. Fighting hard for the last podium position.
Indeed, and actually I just want to quickly mention, because he's suddenly had no drama in this race really, Tim Heinemann there he's actually catching up thanks to all these dramas in 8th. He may also become a factor just to add on to this top 7, but he's had a good race there in 8th. He's just stuck to his own devices, just kept it clean, done what he needs to do, which is good stuff. And David Junt now up into 9th. He's had a really good race from 33rd up to 9th. An amazing race to him. So he really benefited those lap 1 shenanigans there in the turn 1. But yeah, it's still a lot of battles going out through the field. They've kind of spread out a bit more, even in that midfield, although they're still battling. John McLean is having to hold big time from his teammate Sven Smith. He's really looking to pass his teammate there. Hopefully, not getting any teammate contacts. But as we said before, still Team Talk is under big pressure now from Terrace. He still wants to get that move done. And even Ollie behind he's actually gapped James Kirk there. He's got a couple of tenths on him, so Ollie seemed to stick to the back of these two. Maybe use those toes just to stick with him and stay out of James Kirk's attack range. But Timu here still got pressure from Terrace. He's going to have to defend. There he goes to the defensive move. Is he going to go around the outside? No, he's trying to go inside. Oof, just gets it through. Oof, that was close. But he's going to go back down the inside. Get the exit, is he? It's close. They're almost side by side, but I think Terrace may have this one. It looks like he does, but very aggressive there. Just went for that little gap and he just managed to hold it through. So Timu not quite covering the whole track like he maybe needed to stop Terrace from going for that inside line. But Terrace has got him, but as you can see, Timu all over the back of him still. So this fight just will not end. And I'll tell you what, Peter Burlack and Eric Strun are loving this. They're just gapping everyone here at the front. So they're loving these two guys battling for third.
Absolutely, and everyone else is backing up around them. And as actually you were saying, yeah, it looked to me like Ollie, he had a better sort of second sector there than James, the car behind him. So I was actually riding on board with Kirk on that last lap, and James being very aggressive on some of these curves. I think that was actually costing him, but it looks like this lap, or this time round, he's definitely giving him a little more room, and it definitely looks like he's been able to gain a little bit on Ollie here. So yeah, superb fighting for these podium positions. As you were saying, Eric and Petter, they're going to be loving that, giving them a chance to run away. The gap between Petter and Eric actually is up to 1.6 seconds now, as Ollie's just made a slight mistake down into turn 12. A little bit of a lockup. James, he's trying to be, a little bit of contact and drama. Thankfully, that was not quite tire on tire, otherwise I think we might have seen a car going up in the air, but a little bit of a love nudge there. Hello, my friend, I'm here and I would like to pass you, thank you very much. So we'll keep an eye on this fight here between Gretsch and between Kirk and Pelkinen. I don't think James is anywhere close enough for a move this time round, but he might start thinking about setting him up next time round.
Indeed, and actually just noticed Gretsch, they're having to go right against the pit wall there to defend from Timu. They're both just fighting so hard, but they're still going. It's quite incredible to see them fighting this hard, but not having taken each other out. Credit to them for that. And they're still fighting over that podium slot. It's going to go all the way to the end, I think. But Ollie, as we said, is under pressure here now from James. And now, as you notice, he's about just over a second there behind the guy's head. So he's not really got that tone out to help him down the straights. So, as he's gone. And no, Kirk has hit him as well. And he's lost his front wing. Disaster for James. Again, just wrong place, wrong time. Ollie just lost the rear end there into left-hander. And poor old James just had nowhere to go. And that is a disaster for him. He looked so good there. He looked like he could possibly even get a fifth there. Even better if Timu and that collided. But poor James, he's now going to limp it back to pit lane. And that is a real disaster for him in that aspect.
Yeah, indeed. Again, just wrong place, wrong time. It's the cruel nature. Oh my goodness me! By the looks of it, that was Ollie trying to get back around. I think not realising that James lost his wing. And he spun again through that second sector. So Ollie's trying to recover there. But yeah, just wrong place, wrong time. He's now going to be passed, I'm sure, by Heinemann. James, he's got to get that fixed in the next few laps. Part of the rules and regulations, of course. But that's giving him plenty of space. Yeah,
I just was hoping there. I was worried that Heinemann might go a bit too aggressive, but no, he's held. But actually, James
is not pitted. That's surely. I mean, so obviously, aerodynamics is not a huge factor at this track. It's not a high downforce circuit, but this is going to be hurting him so much through the second sector, just not being able to carry the speed through. We'll keep an eye on his lap times on the next few laps, but you do have to pit within 3 laps of receiving the damage. He got that lap damage on lap 14, and we've got an 18-lap race here, so he does have to pit. Surely he's just going to be costing himself time here. We'll have to see what happens. But anyway, dramas there. The beneficiaries, Strawn, he's got the gap up between himself and Petter up to 2 seconds, and the gap now between Petter and Terence Gretsch, who's in third, 4.4 seconds almost. So those two fighting all this time has well and truly benefited our two front runners. By the looks of it, Petter, he just doesn't have a response right now. Perhaps his tyres are going away again, but Eric, he's got that car absolutely hooked up. And all things being equal, he's looking for a good, strong result here. But Teemu, he's right on the... Actually, he's not given up. He's right up behind Gretsch, so we're going to continue to have a fight here for a final podium position.
Indeed, and actually I've just another beneficiary again of this is Tim Heinemann. Again, he's up to 6th. He's a big beneficiary in this race. He's now in 6th place for Cosmo, right behind Lewis McGlade, so he benefited big time from Kerr and all his discretions there. But Ollie now down 8th. He's still struggling along. Doesn't look to be going too bad, although David Junt is now about to be all over the back of him. So Junt once more, another beneficiary of this. He's got to be loving this because suddenly he's back in the championship hunt again. So surely Junt is going to be loving all these instances. As behind him as well, the team pro lines are still going out, and the guys, look at Ben Warren, Jesper Tolberg, Bart Wicks, the guys in the lower end of the teams, they're still having that really big battle there for the lower end of the points, but still Gretsch and Timo going at it, and I don't know, it could be either way, I really do, who knows.
It could be anything. Strawn set the fastest lap of the race last time around. He was just a steady 0.4 of a second faster than Petter, so evidently that Enterprise car working well. And Kurt crossed the line just a few moments ago. He was 6 seconds slower than the car ahead of him, which was Heinemann. Surely he's going to have to pit in and get that fixed, otherwise he's going to be caught by the field, who aren't a great distance behind him. In fact, actually, all the way down to 15th right now.
Oh,
the gap. Oh, sorry.
So I just noticed that Ollie just getting a big whack in the back. It looked like a game. Nothing was lagging off. It looked like he gave him a big whack. Still got his front wing, but personally, I don't know why he's still going. I mean, as well for this is kind of a bit dangerous because the guys behind don't know he's lost his front wing. They won't know, so they're going to come up to him assuming he's going at race pace when he can't because he's lost his front wing. So I think he's just pit, I think, because it's going to cause more chaos. So as you can see, look at them. They're trying their best to get past, but they just can't. It's holding him up. They're going to
there you go.
I
mean, he's alongside now. He's just got that extra grip on that front axle. There you go. Yeah. Just no brakes. Yeah, dangerous stuff. I mean, the gap then. The gap from where he was in P7 all the way down to 15, it's a mere 5 and a bit seconds right now. So if he stayed out like that, he's going to lose a point anyway.
Out, yeah.
So he may as well have got that fixed and tried to, perhaps with some fresh tyres, try and affect something. But Pelkonen, he's up into P7 and he's got Junt now to contend with. Good drive from him from the back. We've mentioned this already. And James actually lost the position to Junt on those last few corners, so we'll have to see. And James, goodness me, I mean, I think in reality, if there was a black and orange flag here, it would be shown it for you've got damage on your car, get it sorted out. So as you say, this is going to be dangerous for some of these guys. They won't have seen that accident up ahead. They're going to come at racing speed. We'll have to, keep an eye out, and obviously we hope that nothing happens. But questions may be asked if something is, and thankfully, I think James might be just letting Sven get by there. Sensible stuff. Perhaps he's just trying to get the car home. But yeah, dangerous stuff. As in fact, we are actually, I believe, on our final lap of the race. So
there's so much happening.
So much happening. We've lost track, but I tell you who hasn't lost track and has kept on it all the way round. Eric Strawn. Yet again, he's coming round turn 13. He's about to come round turn 14 to win magnificently from 15th place. He avoided the drama on lap 1. He kept his head down and got the car sorted. He crosses the line to win race 2. of round 11 here at the Hungaro wing. Great win there, Eric. Well done. I hope we'll get to chat to you in a moment. He is followed home by Petter Burlak. A great result there in second place for him, so 2 podium finishes for him. And Terence Gretsch, he's come home in third after a superb fight between himself and Teemu Toika. And we're just waiting. Lewis McGlade has crossed the line in 5th place. A great result for him. And Tim Heinemann, from all the way at the back of the grid, he's finished P6.
Sorry, just quickly interject. It looks like there was some kind of incident there at the back. I just noticed people spinning there at the second last corner, James among them. So I think there was an incident. Yeah, I don't know who's involved. It looks like a few blokes have been involved.
Oh dear. Yeah, I only just caught the end of that. But James, he definitely left that Proline car nowhere to go. And yeah, around that Proline car went. So dramas right at the end there. Our field is finishing. So to quickly run through them, we had Heinemann finishing 6th. Pelkonen from pole, he finished 7th. Great drive from him. We have Junt in P8, a good recovery right there. Sven Smits for the Team Pro line there, finished in P9. We had Jesper Tolberg finishing P10.
Indeed, and it's Ben Warren for Racing Team Schroden. He's going to be in 11th. There's Mark Wicks for Katana in 12th. Sam Jones gets 13th for Aurora, and it's Peter Devilla for Walk in 14th. Adam Oscar gets 15th last points playing spot for YTF1. James Kirk with that limping car managed to get 16th. So as we said, he still misses out on the points anyway, but that's that. And then James, there you look at that. Jonathan Holmes actually comes back up to 17th after losing his wing on the lap 1. So credit to Jonathan there. It was a good recovery drive, just missing out on the points. And then it's Bruno for place seat there in 18th. Sandeep Chota 19th for JRT, and it's John McLean for Team Proline with that spin at the final corner in 20th.
Ben Horrell comes home in 21st. He's followed home by William Neron. Ben Willis finished in 23rd for night racing, followed by Anders Pestov for Zedric Racing. Then we have, as you said during the commentary, the two backmarker brigade cars, definitely not backmarkers in this one. We had Simon Smith and Marco Vanderberg finishing in P25 and 26. We had Ben Hackerson. He finished in P27 after the dramas on lap 1. He was in fact the first of our did not finish under retirement, and our fellow retirees in that second race was Hansko Mebius, Ollie Woods, Dovidus Pilaris, Tim Straub, Rob Mason, Ewa Tuinainen and Mikko Suvalis. So that completes race 2, and goodness gracious me, all sorts of stuff. I mean, we had this most certainly in race 1, lots of dramas and whatnot. And again, race 2, what a treat of a race that was. And joining us, I'm pleased to say, is our race winner, Mr. Eric Strachan. Eric, great win there. Talk us through that race, and in particular, obviously, the all of a sudden drama up through turn 4.
Yeah, that was a bit scary. I actually said before, like, oh, it'd be nice if everyone crashes out, just wipes everyone out, so I could win race 2, kind of jokingly. And I should probably start saying that a bit more, it seems. But yeah, I mean, it didn't really see much. It was just like, stop as good as you can. And someone hit me up the back and damaged the rear suspension a bit, but it didn't do all that much damage. And yeah, I'm not sure what else to say, really.
Well, I mean, so there was action up and down the field, and the big thing which we were keeping an eye on, certainly in the first and second races, was we were unsure of what the wear rate would be like, or the wear rate on tyres and potentially fuel as well. Evidently, you absolutely nailed your setup to make sure your tyres and things lasted, and clearly Petter, he had a few issues in race 1 where you just absolutely caught him hands over fist.
Yeah, I mean, I barely did any practice for this, to be honest. I did a couple of laps last night. And got off work, got home, ate, and then got on here with about a minute 40 seconds before qualifying. And James just set me set up. I hopped onto that, so I was crap in qualifying. Got me 5th, which was, decent. But then it turned out to be amazing in the race. So that was really, 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 really helpful that it turned out to be that good. So.
Oh, well, good stuff.
Yeah, definitely. That's hats off to James and whoever developed that, because that was excellent.
Tom, any questions for Eric?
No, I think I'll ask one. So we did mention the tyre wear there, but how bad were the tyres there at the end of the race? Did they wear really badly, or was it not as bad as I was hearing people saying before the race?
Figures were bad. I couldn't feel that much difference in the way the car went. I mean, I ended up smashing my race 1 personal best by about 7/10, I think, in race 2. And my last lap was 2/10 off of that. I think I got the fastest race as well. So, I mean, the figures looked bad, but I couldn't really feel that the car behaved bad. So, that's all I can say to that.
Yeah, well, there you go. So, obviously, the tyre's not as bad as we were told, or, what it looked like before the race.
Indeed. Well, either way, it still needs the driver to get the car home. And Eric, again, you had a great round last time out in Hockenheim. Great results here. Are you thinking towards championship ambitions now? Are you thinking, perhaps a good shot at the drivers and potentially constructors for Enterprise? Or are you just thinking race by race and get the car sorted and home?
Drivers' championship is a bit far-fetched, I think I've missed like half the season. So that feels a bit far-fetched. But, I mean, whatever I can do for Enterprise and James, I will.
Great stuff. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Again, massive congratulations on the results tonight, and we look forward to seeing you next time out in Spa.
Yeah, I do as well.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And yeah, as I mentioned a second ago, our next round will be in Spa. It won't be in 2 weeks. We've got our little summer break here at the GPVWC. But Tom, I don't think, again, superlatives are enough for how good Formula Challenge has been so far this season. There have been all sorts of winners, all sorts of brilliant racing and overtakes. Again, an evening where there's just non-stop action.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. That was that was pretty. It was almost, you could almost say chaotic at times, but I don't think, other than that big crash there in race two, a lot of it was very clean, I thought, and very respectful. So credit to everyone there for racing in clean manners, because it could have easily dissolved into a bit of a slugfest. But interesting to see that big crash there at in race two in that first lap. That was a really big one there, and I would be interested to see in the replays what exactly caused that. I'd assume it was just someone losing the rear end into left-hander, like we saw a lot of people actually doing. But yeah, definitely the racing was very, very tight, but very clean, very fast. And as we said multiple times during the broadcast there, a lot of overtaking around the outside, which is incredible to see. They must have those cars hooked up very well, especially the leaders, to be able to pull over those moves into like turn one and turn two all the way around the outside it's quite incredible, I think, to be honest.
Absolutely. I mean, we are around 11 of 17 here. So, of course, as the drivers are pulling in more and more laps for all of these races, you get more and more used to the tricks of the car. But no, I just honestly, it's superb. I agree with you. It's chaotic, but in the good way of all sorts of moves being made, some in places where you just never thought that they would be able to be. Anyway, so with that, I would like to say thank you very much for joining us, Tom. Anything you'd like to say before we close tonight?
Well, I guess just a good, just a thank you to all the drivers for that very entertaining racing. That was very much a very entertaining watch, and just thank yous to you guys, Dave. Thank you to you and everyone else for giving me the opportunity to commentate here. I really did enjoy it. It was a lot of fun, and I'd definitely be up for doing it again, because that was a lot of fun to watch and commentate on. So thanks for that. And yeah, thanks again to Dave and everyone for making all this possible and making it run as smoothly as it did. And thank you, Chuggy, for commentating again.
Oh, not at all. And I first of all second everything you said about making it all happen. Absolutely, there are a lot of hardworking people to make all these leagues and things happen, as we know, every week in, week out. But no, thank you very much for joining me in the box. Glad to know that you've had an enjoyable evening, and hopefully we'll see you in the non too distant future. Anyway, all I'll say to close is that if you've liked anything that you've seen tonight, well, we've got more racing from the GPVWC this week and over the weekend. We've got Super Cup and Super League to follow on Wednesday and Thursday, and then we have the running of the Indy 500 on Saturday, starting at 4 p.m. I don't think we'll be broadcasting that, but if you head over to the GPVWC.com, you'll be able to keep up to date and on track with what's going on both at the league, participate yourself, and then just get involved. So with that, thank you very much to all of you for watching. We hope you've enjoyed what we've seen. We've seen a mad, chaotic round here at Hungaroring. We have to perhaps hope for a more relaxing time next time out at Spa. I've been Matthew Williams. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time out on the racetrack.